guys, welcome to another Mind Right Monday. I'm Bonnie Kelly, and this week we're talking about how your past experiences are affecting your decision making today. Hey guys, welcome to another Mind Right Monday. Can you believe it's already November? Like, this year is flying by, and I am so excited to be here today talking to you guys about one of my favorite topics, and it happens to be one of the core principles that is introduced in my book, True to Your Core. And so that is about how our past experiences, these pivotal life moments that we have in our adolescence and our childhood, are still influencing and affecting the decision making we make today. Now, this is an important thing to recognize. I mean, you could have done a lot of work on your history, right? Maybe it's through forgiveness or healing or therapy or counseling on healing the wounds of our past. But even if you didn't have a traumatic history, that these past experiences still could subtly or sneakily be affecting or influencing a lot of the decision making that you make today. Now, let me break this down on how this may look. Your childhood experiences plant seeds in your subconscious mind that ultimately will grow into weeds. So this is why it's important to recognize how these past experiences are influencing today, is that they plant seeds, but not just in the mind, but in the subconscious mind. Now, I've done a video before on talking about the power of the subconscious mind, but it's important to recognize that the subconscious is the powerhouse of the mind and is estimated to control about 80% of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now think about this. The programs, the beliefs that are installed in the subconscious run a lot of your day-to-day functions. How you drive your car, how you brush your teeth, how you tie your shoes, how you fold your laundry. All of these things are programs or seeds planted in the subconscious. We've conditioned our brain how to perform these tasks, and then the brain will run that program when it feels necessary. Now, what we might not realize is that a lot of that belief system that we're still functioning on today was primarily installed in our brains in our pre-adolescence, many cases before 14 years old. So that means if we've had any experiences that were maybe painful or traumatic or hard in our pre-adolescence, then that experience shapes a lot of how our belief or our subconscious thinks about who we are, how we show up to the world, and even relationships. Because we witness a lot of different things by watching our parents, and if they were having trouble, then that could plant seeds in our mind about who women are, or how men are, or how we connect with them. So these experiences then just plant a seed in the mind, and that seed will ultimately grow into a weed that will stay in the mind and influencing the decisions. And if you are like me, that means we need to get in our minds and start recognizing, like, oh my golly, there's a lot of weeds in our garden, and start pulling them. But more often than not, in personal development world, people take the lawnmower approach when it comes to their self-development, that they go to conferences and get all jazzed up, and then they come home and never do anything more. Or maybe they watch a video or read a book, but do they do the exercises? Do they hire a coach? Do they do anything above and beyond that to really dig out and pull those weeds out so that they don't grow back? So that's the first insight for today, is to recognize that these experiences really do plant these seeds in the mind. But this leads me to my next insight today, which is a planted seed alone isn't powerful enough to cause damage. It requires support. Now, just like a seed, when you plant it into the ground, it needs a lot of support. It needs soil and nutrients. It needs sunshine and rain to be able to grow into a full-blown tree or plant or weed. Without that necessary support, then it's going to shrivel up and die. So the same is true with the belief that was installed through our adolescence. So if your father was absent for most of your childhood, then maybe a seed was planted that you're not lovable, or that you're alone, or men don't love you, or maybe the opposite, that you desperately need attention from men, and so you find yourself craving their attention or showing off or being willing to do things that you normally wouldn't do to try to impress them. right? These are a result of this seed from this experience that were planted. But then once the seed is planted, it needs that added support, that nourishment. And what in this case from these experiences means more supporting evidence. So what the brain starts to do is it starts to look for other evidence that is out there that validates this to be true. So if the belief is I'm not lovable, then when we start looking at other experiences, if we have a similar experience, now that belief is going to add to this, or that experience adds to this belief, and now this belief is gaining strength and momentum. Then let's say we entered high school and our first boyfriend dumps us. Well, now that just added evidence that I'm not lovable. And then maybe we get in a fight with our mother and she says something really rude or mean or cruel that you were a mistake anyways, right? And in a heat of passion, that's so painful, but that's validating evidence. And it gains more and more strength. Which leads me to the third tip of what's going to happen next and ultimately where this seed is going to go. And that is, once these seeds acquire enough support, they lock into your mind as absolute truth, becoming true to your core. Now this is where the seed becomes dangerous. That seed now has enough supporting evidence where it says, okay, that this is true. I know that I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy, that I'm hopeless, that I'm a mess, that I'm bad, that I suck. Whatever that belief is, it's now gained enough validating evidence from our experiences to lock itself in as part of our identity. Now, once that becomes true, we will start to just run out our adult lives unconsciously aware that this belief from your childhood experience now is influencing how you experience and see the world. Tell me that's not crazy, but it's true. So what your job is to go back and to figure out what in your today life seems to be a reoccurring event. What seems to be like, oh, there that is again. Oop. That's because I'm not enough. Oh, that's because I'm worthless. Where it's a reoccurring experience that is going back and validating something from our history. So hopefully this has planted a seed this week into helping you understand how some of those decisions or bad habits you're experiencing today are actually because of these accidental mistakes that were planted in our mind from a very long time ago. And that will lead me to this week's tweetable, which is, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Now, I say this tweetable often because this is so powerful to recognize that those seeds planted in our mind more often were planted by mistake. So it's not your fault, but it sure is your responsibility to change and do something about it. And that means we need to look at those histories and to retell that story. If you want to learn on how you can do that better or more, then you have to get a copy of my new book, which is True to Your Core. It's available online for Amazon retailers or even barnesandnobles.com, and that's where you're going to be able to get not only the clear understanding of how this impacts you, but also a step-by-step approach on how you can untangle that to free your life today. Grab your copy today, and also check out truetoyourcore.com because we have a free master series with all of the homework that's in that book as free downloads just for you. So go ahead, grab the book, go to the site, check it out. I promise you, you will be happy with the results. All right, guys, till next week, I'm Bonnie Kelly.